Joe Biden's re-election campaign is in serious trouble. The president is struggling to deal with the outbreak of war in Israel and the problems piling up at home. Axios calls it, quote, Biden's 1979 moment. And now the White House is busting out the worst campaign surrogate to reassure voters.
Joe Biden is very much alive and running for re-election. Our democracy is on the line, Bill. And I frankly, in my head, do not have time for parlor games when we have a president who is running for re-election. That's it.
Why are you not 30 points ahead?
Well, I'm not a political pundit, so I'm not going to speak to that. Let me just tell you that. We're going to win. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but we will win.
You say that with such conviction.
I have no doubt.
All right, Dana.
Yes.
Joe Biden is very much alive. Should Karine Jean-Pierre worry about her job now?
Well, I think that communications rule number one is you never repeat the question or you never repeat the negative. You don't need to say he's very much alive. I am curious about what happened to 60 Minutes has given Joe Biden 2 weeks ago a big spot and then Kamala Harris. The questions to me are pretty soft. Okay, like, why are you not winning? Why do not people? Well, okay, so one of the things happened is she talks about the poll numbers, and she about young people. Why is your approval so low with young people? And she says, well, we've given them everything they want on student loans and climate change. They just don't know it. But I think that's one of the things that shows there's this out of touch component where the young people can't afford the rent. The rent is too damn high, and they're screaming that from the rooftops. And the student loan thing is not going to actually fix the rent problem. And I think also they might just be disenchanted with the fact that they have all said he's just too old. That's not changing. I thought it was very interesting today. James Carville, he said that he has been told by other Democrats to basically shut up and stop saying that Joe Biden might have trouble in his reelection. So they don't want to actually say that the House is on fire. They want to pretend that it's not, but the House is actually on fire.
All right, Jesse, the problems are piling up domestically and internationally, but whether it's Afghanistan, Ukraine, or now what's going on in the Middle East, isn't Joe Biden, by funding Iran, continuing to create his own problems internationally?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And he'll never admit that was his fault, because he said he was going to get us back to normal. And then we had 2 different strains of COVID for a year and a half, followed up by mandates. Everyone got fired. And then all of a sudden, you have hyperinflation and you have crime. You have a crazy border. And now you got wars popping up all over the place. And the American people did not vote for Joe Biden for this reason. We wanted normal, and this is a catastrophe. Now, imagine you're Joe Biden and you're sitting at the Delaware House and you're next to Hunter and you watch football. All of a sudden, 60 Minutes comes on. That's why everybody watches 60 Minutes on Sunday, because it's just after football. And it comes on, and you see Kamala. And you're like, oh, what is she going to say? I'm alive? Thanks, Kamala. That's not really the best you can do. Because remember the last thing she said. They asked her about this a month ago, and she goes, I'm ready. I'm ready to take over. And everybody was like, you know what? You looked a little too ready, Kamala. So now she's like, he's alive. And that's like the way a mortician talks about people, dead or alive. And all Democrats see Joe Biden like this. There's no varying levels of performance. He's either breathing or he's not breathing. And that's because they have no bench. And that's because a lot of people in the White House, Judge, enjoy having a diminished president that they can manage behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah. Well, the foreign minister from Iran was given a visa and came to the UN and talked about, pretty much threatened us. And when he was asked on CNN about it, he wouldn't answer the question. Is it any wonder that they think we're weak if they can come here and threaten us?
Well, I should point out that the leader of Iran gets a visa under all administration. So Republican presidents have let him come and Democratic presidents have let him come. And there have been various protests, but that's not some weakness on Joe Biden's front. I agree that this is definitely a crisis moment. I don't know if we're at 1979 levels, but it's incredibly disheartening and it's tough to handle for everybody. I think that the focus of this interview was really on her foreign policy work. And if you notice, I kept talking about she's been to 19 countries. She's met with over 100 leaders. I did think in terms of hard pushback, he went at her about the border. He said, you're supposed to be the border czar, and that's a complete disaster. Joe Biden is alive. Obviously, they need a smoother message about that. But it is interesting to watch Dean Phillips, who is the recently declared congressman. He's trying to make a Democratic primary out of this, and he doesn't have anything to run on. He's made that clear. I think Joe Biden did a great job, but I'm 54 years old and he's 80 years old. This is really just a generational issue, and I wonder if that is sparking more of this conversation amongst people. And I would obviously push back on Jesse about we have no bench. If it was an open primary, you would have Gavin Newsom in there, you would have Gretchen Whitmer in there, you would have Mitch Landrieu in there, a lot of people who are very, very qualified for that.
So if it isn't an open primary, I mean, why isn't it an open primary? Are they totalitarian in the Democrat Party?
I think they're planning on a big day where they all come out at once. That way they can all handle the pressure. That's my opinion, Jessica.
I don't think anyone who's been in politics has ever thought of that before.
I love Kamala declaring that Biden is alive. That's not a low bar. That's a no bar. It's the Brezhnev bar. I mean, I think that he should walk around with a little thing around his neck that holds a mirror to his mouth, just so we know he's alive. Bottom line, there is no there. Our country feels headless. We know that, but we're buried in our smartphones. It becomes less and less important to see the president because we're so inundated with all this stuff coming at us. But now we're in a time of wars. Not war, but wars. You got to pay attention now because things are going bad. Again, Trump's tweets might have injured your ego, but they didn't lead to wars and inflation, an open border, and crime. We need a realization that the president is your agent. He's your lawyer. He's not your pal. Imagine Joe representing you in court. He'd be more likely to share a dirty joke with the jury than actually defend you, right? Trump was the perfect agent or the perfect lawyer in that he aggressively makes the world's terms bow to your terms out of simply wearing you down and driving you crazy. Drove everybody crazy, but it worked, which is why I have to call out the selfishness, the incredible selfishness of so many of my peers, my respectful peers in the media and the entertainment world, who put their temporary mental health above everything else, including world peace. They started in 2015 with Trump as a big, mean jerk. And then they built this big, hysteria-laden castle on top of it, which made them feel better, but it made the world worse. I'm ready to accept apologies.
I don't think you're getting any. FYI.
Yeah. Okay.
Up next, is Hunter Biden about to get subpoenaed by Republicans?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.